Hi, my name is Sharon Peterson. I'm here to welcome you to Highlight Gallery in Mendocino, California. We have a wonderful gallery here, and we'd like to share our artists with you. It's a very diverse gallery, and we're always looking for quality and uniqueness. There's a lot of work out there in the world, and we feel really confident that the things that we have chosen fit those qualities. So I want to show you the first wall hanging artist in the gallery. His name is Jan Peterson, and he is a local. He creates paintings made from natural sands that have been collected throughout the country. He works creating the essence of the beach, hoping that it will transport you back to that wonderful place that most people feel when they're at the beach. Usually the paintings are impressions, ocean impressions. He has worked and can work with other ideas that people have. He has incorporated birds and shells over the years. And you can see him on our website too. Our website has all of our artists with more detailed information. Another person who entered the gallery in 1986 was Elizabeth Banthian with her wire sculptures. She works with spool wire, cut in different lengths, and creates some of the most unusual sculptures. Wire is being used by many artists, but no one does it quite like Elizabeth has. She has been working this for 40 years. I want to introduce you to two of my co-workers. We have worked together for 15 years plus, and they know the gallery as well as I do, if not better, and they certainly have talents that they bring to the gallery that I am so appreciative of. This is Sylvia Gilmore.
Hi.
And this is Joni Ellis.
Hi.
And they'll be sharing some insights on some of the artists throughout the galleries.
Aaron Dertner has lived on the coast for many years, more than 30, I think, and one of my favorite artists. Uses oils with a palette knife for the most part. She's proficient in both oils and watercolors, and her driving force is really capturing the light, especially the late afternoon light. We have a wonderful variety of local scenes here that she has done. People love the essence that she captures of the Mendocino coast. Barbara Banthian has been with the gallery also for many years. She works mainly in acrylics with very small brushes, and she works very meticulously. So she picks up details that she has carefully observed, and her work is just exquisite. She mainly focuses on pelicans and other avians. Hope Stevenson started with the gallery many years ago, and she is no longer with us, but we still have some of her work available to the public. And she also works with oils and a palette knife. She was a wonderful teacher and taught many students who came here through the Art Center over the years.
And one of the things that I love in the gallery, it is very dangerous for me to be here when new Laurie bowls arrive, because I already have 4 on top of my refrigerator, use them all the time. And they're my art when they're up on top, when I'm not using them. They're my art when I'm using them. And these bowls are an example of, we have so many different wood turners, and these are very practical bowls made to be used, whereas some of them are more to be used as art, to be a centerpiece on a table or some such thing. But these Laurie bowls are just one of my favorites in the gallery. And this is Paul Brewer, who's one of our very local artists. Does this amazing photography that is basically impregnated into the aluminum. And I find that his work, not only does it represent our area, our Mendocino coast, though that's not all he does, but he certainly does focus on the Mendocino coast since he lives there. But I love how the depth, the perspective that you get, the way he does this, the photography on the metal, you feel like you can just step right into them. Another one of our very well-received artists in the gallery, we also sell a lot of his work, and when we get to the foyer, you can see one of his large ones at the top. But one of the great things about his work too, people sometimes find a piece and say, boy, I'd really like to have that in a different size, and he'll work with them and create it. One of our favorite people to work with here on the coast.
In the early 80s, when the Mendocino woodworkers had a foothold in the area, a woodworking school was started, the James Krinov School of Woodworking. We've been very fortunate to have a relationship with them over these 30 plus years. We have hosted their graduation show each year. That means clearing out a good portion of the gallery and showing their exquisite art-like pieces for a month. Now that we're in a smaller space, we have not been able to do that for the last couple of years, which we are very sad to say. But we do still have wonderful pieces from them, just not as many. The piece that's here, it's called the Princess Apothecary Cabinet, was done by one of the instructors at the school. And it's a very complex piece that many people that come in that are woodworkers are very inspired to examine, pull out their drawers, get underneath. This collection of sculptures is done by Deverall. They are bronze, limited editions, probably one of the most talked about artists here in the gallery. They touch something in people, makes them so appealing, whether it's the old bear there, what is he called? Senior bear, you know, the rabbits, the moose with the raven. The raven, he's used the raven on a few pieces, the moose and the donkey being one. And we never know what he's going to come up with. It seems he comes up with a new piece at least once a year. And the collectors are there waiting.
Laurie DuVald is one of our newer artists. We've carried her work for several years, but we love her spontaneity, and she works in a spontaneous way. She doesn't plan ahead what she's going to do. She just lets the moment and the inspiration carry her. And this collection is just indicative of her hopefulness and her joy, and we feel like that's highly appropriate right now. And we really love the way her work blends and works well with Victor Genovi's beautiful and curvaceous kind of furniture. His work is another of our favorites and many of our customers. Sally Cataldo has worked mainly in watercolors for many years. She's painted since she was a child. Her mother is also an artist whose work we carry. Her mother's work is in pastels. Sally has mainly worked in watercolors and gouache, but this past year she's also added pastels along with those mediums. We're always excited to see what she's going to come up with next, and she's always innovative and always doing something wonderful and new. We also carry a wonderful selection of jewelry. We're all wearing some of the jewelry that we carry. And it's, again, a little worrisome for our pocketbooks when the new jewelry comes in, because we're always happy to see it.
So Joni mentioned that Sharon and I and she are all wearing jewelry from the gallery. You just got to see some of that. And I'd like to point out one of our favorites here, Karen Smith, who does this incredible, as I am demonstrating, one of my favorite pieces of jewelry, and the earrings as well. We have such a wonderful selection of handmade jewelry. We also have these handmade knives by local artist Steve McGill. And such diversity with all of the jewelry and, again, just everything in the gallery. And I'd like to next bring your attention to some of our ceramics. One of my favorite ceramic artists is Sally Jaffe. She does this beautiful sgraffito work, which is a very labor-intensive technique and focuses a lot on animals, though not exclusively, but she does these beautiful, very useful pieces. They're all practical. They're not just for display, although they're certainly that as well. We also have, as you can see behind me, a collection of other ceramic artists who, many of which Jan Wex and Chris Bing have been with the gallery for many, many years. I don't even know how, certainly since I've been working for the gallery, and that's, again, 14 years. And Melanie Leota, one of our newer artists. And I'm going to walk over here. And as you can see probably in this scan here, more of the wonderful wood turnings that we have and other ceramics as well. One I'd like to point out is Bonnie Belt, who does this amazing sculptural ceramic work. So definitely more of a decorative, although she does do some plates and etc. as well. But her work is just exquisitely detailed and so delicate. We wonder sometimes how she creates, for instance, these leaves that are so delicate and yet also very strong enough to be a display piece in your home. And we also have Dia Kim, who does this wonderful glass work. And it's slumped glass and has incredible color. Whether the camera is really getting in on this color, I'm hoping so. It kind of depends on which way it's aiming. But she just does these beautiful, beautiful, deep, colorful pieces. And we have other glass artists as well. Again, so much to see here in the gallery. We are so blessed by so many wonderful, wonderful artists. And just a quick story going back to Sally Jaffe's work there. She went through one of our horrific wildfires a few years ago in Lake County. Lost everything, her studio, everything except her dog, her computer, her camping gear that she's left with. And didn't know if her studio was going to be there when she got back. And it was not. She lost everything. She had gone to Shasta in the meantime to camp there while the fire was blazing and decided to stay there. So we now have our Shasta artist. And just an example of the resilience of people who use their creative skills to create new lives for themselves. We are so grateful to be a part of all of that. We feel like we are kind of midwives between that creative spirit of the artists and the customers who then get to enjoy this beautiful creative work. And that's what I have to say.